So then the weekend, this news kind of broke. I haven't really had a chance to cover it myself, but I thought I have to, you know, I mean, it's got to be one of those. But Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, it is done. It is not permanent. It is a loan. But let's be honest, it definitely feels like the end. And if it didn't already feel like the end with him getting his number taken off him, this absolutely now is the end. And it's interesting that I would say this last year, 18 month or so, he has failed at Manchester United. And it's not really the way that you wanted this career at the club to end, especially for a boyhood fan that came through the academy. You have to feel like it shouldn't have ended in the way that it is ending now. But let's have a look at how this actually impacts the club and what it means going forward. So he had to leave. He wasn't in Amorim's plans. He's barely featured. Obviously went on loan to Aston Villa. And it was a clear disconnect. His best attributes, his best qualities, the pace, the directness, we weren't seeing that. We weren't seeing the work rate. We weren't seeing... And from regardless of what we were or weren't seeing on the pitch, there was clearly either an attitude, an aptitude, or some sort of personality disconnect where once Amorim came in, and he was in and out of the team a little bit under Ten Hag, but once Amorim came in, it was done. For whatever reason, I don't know if he spoke to him. I don't know if something happened. There was the Belfast incident. There was an incident before the derby. If that was it, or was that the only thing that we knew of? It was clearly enough that the manager wanted to make a statement, or he was informed by the football board above him that the significant wages that he's on, he kind of needs to go. So there was a fresh start needed. He went on loan to Villa, and he did. It was funny because when he first went on loan to Villa, people desperate to just hammer United for anything were going over themselves to say how well he did. I think he did okay. I actually thought he started this season better than what we saw from him last season, if we're being honest with ourselves as well. I did think there was a way back for him. But obviously, once Amorim came in, it felt like that probably wasn't the case. And I still think he probably would have performed better than Højlund over the course of the season. But, you know, for whether it's discipline, attitude, aptitude, just whatever, it needed a change. It's mad that he's gone to Barcelona. Barcelona have always had an ability to sort of make mad transfers happen. And I feel like this is one of them. There is a possibility of redemption. I think in Spain he could be brilliant. Maybe the change of scenery, maybe the getting out of Manchester, getting out of England, the lack of pressure that would be on him from the press, because the press here fucking hated him. Maybe that is a way for him to rekindle his love with football, for training, and to lose himself in the game. Whatever distractions he had off the pitch, just focus on your football and see how it goes. You know, we saw Garnacho, who I don't think is very good, selected over him last season. With Cunha and Mbeumo coming in, it was simply a case of, can United find someone that's willing to take his wages and maybe even pay for him afterwards? Opponent deal, would have been way more preferential, cash up front for us, but Barcelona's finances make ours look in good nick, to be honest with you. So a loan was probably the only outcome we could have got. Rashford's wages are off the book for now, which is significant for us. There is a potential future fee. So, you know, from a human point of view, I hope he does well. From a United point of view, I hope he does well, and they want to cough up some money for him. So, yeah, sale would have been brilliant, but his wages being covered by Barcelona with the option of a future fee, I think that helps us possibly bringing in somebody else, or maybe it eases the negotiation when we're bringing somebody else in. So what next for United? Well, obviously Mbeumo and Cunha. It's a very different looking forward line to what we had last season. I still think it's absolutely critical that we bring in a striker. The next priority has to be the remaining 5. Sancho, Malacia, Antony, Garnacho, and I would throw in Højlund into that too. If we can get some funds for any of those players, that frees up that striker option for us. I think Mateta is begging to be a Manchester United player. You know, I think the news yesterday about Gyökeres coming or being linked with us was just pure speculation on behalf of Sporting. I don't think there was any basis in reality from that whatsoever. But it is about United moving on and trying to hit that next level. You know, sad the way it ended, the way it did. He should have been going down as a cult hero. Should have been someone that won the league here. Should have been going down as a legend. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, the club and the player have both had a hand in the way this has gone down the way it's gone down. So it is what it is. United have to focus on moving on and getting better. The loan might sting for some fans. It probably will if he goes and is successful and he starts scoring goals in Spain, which he's definitely capable of doing. I think that league and the pace of that league, if he can get back to who Marcus Rashford is, he will be a problem in that league. If he continues to be, you know, distracted and playing within himself and not focused and not asked, then yeah, I would imagine we're back here in 12 months figuring out who's going to take on his massive wages and can we get any level of fee for him. Barcelona, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't be able to fail up, if you like, to Barcelona. But that's what's happened. So I guess his reputation abroad is probably better than it is right here. That's life. Hope he does well for loads of reasons. But the big one being that Manchester United can get a suitable fee for him. You know, we got robbed on the fee for Greenwood. We're getting robbed on the fee for Sancho for off-the-field issues. We're getting robbed on what Marcus Rashford would have been worth if we'd have sold him at a different time. We didn't manage to sell Bruno. The club are awful at selling players for market value. And it's hilarious. You're like, Chelsea have gone and kind of replaced Nicholas Jackson with a player that cost half as much as Nicholas Jackson and are trying to sell us Nicholas Jackson for 60 million when they spent 30 million beating us to the signature of a player that we wanted instead of Nicholas Jackson. You almost have to take your fucking hat off to Chelsea the way they operate in the market. They're able to spend the billions they've spent the last couple of seasons with a B because they get proper money for their players, and Liverpool are doing a similar sort of thing. United are just shit. Like, even to a greater or lesser extent with Brian and Mbeumo. We knew what we had to pay. We still ended up paying it. We didn't strong-arm anyone into a bargain there. So it'd be nice to see United actually start selling some players for some proper cash, wouldn't it? Anyway, please let me know your thoughts on Rashford. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.